police vests, what advocates are saying now about the divisive decision. Plus, the Olympics roster for Team USA is stacked with a lot of well-known athletes. We verify why so many pros are in this year's Summer Games. And today is International Beer Day. When it comes to enjoying craft beer, people here in the Tar Heel State take first place. We explain why. Thank you for joining us here at 2:30. I'm Nick Sturdivant. We're continuing to follow today's top stories. But first, let's get a check-in on the weather. And today, we're reminding you to stay weather aware as you make plans this afternoon. This is a look outside. This is from uptown, courtesy of our view camera. Look, we have high heat. We have a storm chance this afternoon. I would have tossed it over to meteorologist Brittany Van Voorhees. And Brittany, I laid it all out here. So what should folks expect as they get off of work?
Well, I would say that storms will be approaching by that point, Nick, but they are going to be few and far between. Today, heat is number 1, storms is number 2, but we're flipping that script heading into tomorrow. Heat advisory is still remaining in effect for the Charlotte area and area south. You can see Mecklenburg, York County, Chester, all the way east there toward Cabarrus, over toward Rowan and Stanley County, and eventually Union, Anson, and of course Chesterfield and Richmond too. Now, our heat index values are a touch higher than yesterday, right now sitting at 99 in Charlotte. That's not to say that we can't get into the triple digits or close to 103 later, but look at the outlying areas down to our south and east that oftentimes do see, of course, the worst heat. Chirac at 107 right now. Only reason why Rockingham's a little bit lower is because of storms. And speaking of, although they are not going to impact the Charlotte metro area until later on this afternoon, we do already have some pockets of really heavy rain and gusty winds. Right now, a severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for parts here of Burke County. That includes the Linville area near Linville Gorge, all the way up to really Beach and Sugar Mountain. They're right on the border between Burke and Avery County. Now, I'll tell you that it's heavy rain, but gusty winds as well, around 60 plus miles per hour based on radar indications. Also, heavy rain for parts of Ashe, Watauga County have prompted some flash flood warnings, although that is starting to head away from places like the Blowing Rock area and pushing east toward Wilkes County. As we take a wider view, you can see really the rain and storm activity is mostly to our north, but we'll be tracking isolated shower and storm potential again across the Charlotte metro as we get closer to this afternoon. Few and far between are the storm chances today, but these numbers are going to be much higher heading into tomorrow. It is, of course, the first half of the weekend, so the hour-by-hour look at your futurecast and which day of the weekend is better to get outside. That's all coming up.
All right, thank you, Brittany. In about 30 minutes, crews expect to reopen Wilkinson Boulevard in West Charlotte after a car crashed into a utility pole, knocking down traffic lights and power lines. It all happened this morning around 8:30. No one was hurt in this crash. Crews had to close the street in both directions at Old Still Creek Road. And as we speak, the Kings Mountain Police Department is holding a press conference about this woman right here on your screen who went missing over 3 years ago. They're planning to give updates on the search, which started up again this morning. WCNC Charlotte's Jesse Pierre is there and will have a full report for us. CMPD now reversing course and bringing a years-long battle over police vests to an end. According to a department email, all officers now have the choice to wear outer vests. WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane has the latest.
Yeah, good afternoon. This change to now allowing the patrol officer to wear outer vests means that they won't have to wear all of their items, i.e. their guns, their cam, their batons, handcuffs, all on their belt. They can now have some of these items equally distributed out amongst their body, reducing the weight and the strain on the officers. Now, this is something that Police Chief Johnny Jennings has pushed back against for a while, according to the Policemen's Benevolent Organization. They say that this is something officers, patrol officers have wanted because it's a health issue. It helps them in the long run better do their jobs. Now, yesterday, a memo that went out to all officers says that now everyone has the ability to apply for that. Usually only specialized officers, or specialized units, I should say, were able to wear these vests, but now regular patrol officers can apply, go through the process, and get these vests. I spoke to a couple officers from other agencies. They said that one officer in particular was telling me that he was once an officer who carried stuff around his belt. He has a vest, actually was wearing it today. This was in South Carolina, and he said that it makes a difference because it equally distributes those items along his body, and it makes it easier for him, and he says he'll be healthier in the long run. Of course, this is something that the police department here is now allowing its officers to do as long as they check a box on a form and go through the process, including getting measured and making sure they get a vest that is right for them. We'll keep you posted. We're right here at CMPD headquarters. Richard Devane for WCNC Charlotte.
UNC Chapel Hill is now switching to a new system for emergencies. This comes a year after the campus went on lockdown for hours when an active shooter shot and killed a professor. Today, the school released a 25-minute video showing faculty what to do in different situations. Leaders hope this helps everyone feel better prepared after many expressed they were not last fall. UNC says all staff must have the training done before the first day of classes. The Belmont community continues to grieve the loss of its mayor, Richard Turner. This weekend, his family is inviting friends to Queen of the Apostles Catholic Church. That's from 4 p.m. until 6 p.m. this Sunday. There will also be a mass of Christian burial at the church. That's at 11 a.m. on Monday. Now, in lieu of flowers, the family says memorials in Turner's memory may be made to the SECU family house. You can find all those details on our website right now on WCNC.com. And in just 2 hours ago, Chester County Police say they found the loose African several cat that's been roaming the community. Police say it was being kept as a pet and escaped Wednesday during a house fire on East Lacey Street. We're told the cat is now at a sanctuary in Florida. Today is International Beer Day, and a new study shows North Carolina ranks first in the nation when it comes to how much people enjoy craft breweries. Local brewery owners say upstate's love for craft beer isn't that surprising. WCNC Charlotte's Austin Walker joins us from NODA, where one brewery says it's seeing more competitors pop up in Charlotte.
It's like crafting the perfect song inside Birdsong Brewing.
So we've got imported Pilsner malt that goes into our Rewind lager.
It's in the name, a systematic symphony, all about the process.
And we'll run it through our mill so we can crack it open and get to the complex sugars on the inside.
Owner Chris Goulet saying it's a long one.
We brewed it on July 9th, and then we moved it over on the 23rd.
But it's worth it.
We're actually canning. This is our best-selling beer in a can, is our Jalapeno Pale Ale.
To capture each different and tasty note.
So we all work for the yeast, basically.
It's something they have to make a priority.
Probably 2017 to 2020, there was just this huge boom where all these breweries opened, and we got up to about 40 in the city.
As breweries expand with a similar tune.
Right? If you go up North Davidson from here, by the time you get to Sugar Creek, I think you pass 8 breweries.
It keeps Goulet and the team on their toes, holding up North Carolina's reputation.
The whole level has come up, and we really do put out phenomenal products as a state and as a city.
A fast-paced tempo, brewing the perfect melody.
And Goulet says while more breweries have opened everywhere, he says he's also seen a few close this year. He says this could be because there are so many more places to choose from. Another factor, rent prices and leasing issues. Today, Olympic officials are discussing a possible gender row in boxing. It comes after Italy's Angela Carini quit her fight with Algeria's Aman Khalif after just 46 seconds, saying she was in too much pain from her opponent's punches. Italy's prime minister says it was not a fight among equals, but the International Olympic Committee chief says there is not one right answer.
This is a minefield, and unfortunately, as with all minefields, we want a simple explanation. Everyone wants a black and white explanation of how we can determine this. That explanation does not exist, neither in the scientific community nor anywhere else.
And Khalif was disqualified from the 2023 World Championships after failing eligibility tests for the women's competition, but the IOC has said that decision was arbitrary. Well, it's safe to say Team USA is making us all proud in Paris so far, but some on social media are wondering why there are so many pro athletes competing for Team USA. WCNC Charlotte's Megan Bragg takes a look at the star-studded lineup in today's Verify.
Getting a chance to play in the Olympic Games to represent your country is one of the highest honors an athlete can receive. But some people were commenting on our WCNC Charlotte's Facebook page asking us how professional players like Steph Curry can compete in the Games. So let's verify.
Our sources for this story are the International Olympic Committee, known as the IOC, and Team USA. Originally, the Olympics were restricted to amateur athletes only. However, around the 1970s, the IOC relaxed their policies, allowing professional athletes to compete in most sports. And by the 1988 Games, the IOC made all professional athletes eligible to compete in the Olympics. Professional athletes still have to follow rules set up by the IOC, like being citizens of the country they represent and adhere to the anti-doping regulations. The IOC says letting professional players compete in games helps attract the world's biggest stars and improves the Olympics' commercial prospects. And we certainly see that happening now, with millions turning in to watch stars like LeBron James, Steph Curry, and Coco Gauff. With your Verify, I'm Megan Brown.
And if you have something you would like verified, email us at verify@wcnc.com. Now to our forecast. It is heating up this weekend, but meteorologist Brittany Van Voorhees is tracking storms. Now, folks are going to be getting off of work looking to enjoy this weekend. But what should folks be on the lookout for, Brittany, this afternoon?
It's mainly this afternoon and evening that we see a few spotty storms. And then tomorrow after 4 p.m. that the worst of the storms do impact the Carolinas. So both today and tomorrow, it's kind of a 1-2 punch here. We have storms and heat tonight. That's closer to the 7 o'clock time frame. But 4 p.m. to midnight all the way through most of tomorrow afternoon and evening. And we're going to take a closer look at Futurecast, but it could kind of be a tale of two different opportunities to see rain. Again, storms, heat, you need the umbrella, need the AC. Now, storms have been popping up in a few areas so far this afternoon, but most of them actually north of the I-40 corridor. Right now, we do still have this active severe thunderstorm warning for Burke County. This is due to heavy rain, but especially those 60+ mile per hour wind gusts. As that continues to trek to the north and east, we have Table Rock impacted within the next 5 to 10 minutes and Brown Mountain there as we get closer to 3 o'clock. Now, radar also showing that we have a flash flood warning still in effect here for this area in Watauga County. This is mainly along and east of Blowing Rock. Notice the rain starting to wrap up now. However, if you look just to the north and west, more showers are on the way, and these are relatively slow moving, which is why flooding is an opportunity for those areas north of I-40, especially because of the higher elevation and the quicker opportunity for things like mudslides and landslides. But thankfully, the rest of the area looks mostly dry right now. We're not going to see that chance for rain and storms again until much later on in the day. Here's a wider view here. You can see some of that activity pushing toward Alexander County, but none of it as of now south of I-40. So we have a chance to see some of those strong storms today and again for tomorrow, but by Sunday, just a general risk there to see thunderstorms. So thankfully things will be looking a little bit better as we get toward the second half of your weekend. Here's Futurecast. You can see as we get closer to 7 o'clock, again, there are some storms around, but they're relatively few and far between for tonight and again into tomorrow morning. 30-40% chance at a maximum if you're in the Charlotte metro. Now tomorrow, we have a chance for a few pop-up storms really starting around 12 o'clock, but that's going to be mainly along and south of Charlotte. Notice the metro area stays mostly dry, but some of those strong storms by about 2-3 not out of the question for areas in Chesterfield County, Richmond County, and eastern Anson. But for most of the area, most of the Charlotte metro, most of our viewers, this is going to be 4 p.m. and later that we see those strong storms not only start to develop, but move through the metro. I mean, look at this activity even by 11 o'clock. These storms not only starting in the afternoon, but again lasting through at least midnight and even some activity into Sunday morning. Again, thankfully, Sunday looks a little bit lesser when it comes to overall storm potential. A quick update in the tropics here. We did have potential tropical cyclone 4 form as of the 11 a.m. advisory. Reminder that potential tropical cyclones, they become PTCs because essentially they're not yet tropical depressions or named storms, but the National Hurricane Center wants to go ahead and be able to issue watches and warnings and of course give folks a head up in that path. Now, will the Carolinas see impacts? Yes, but the Carolinas will mostly see impacts along the coast. You can see as of now, not expecting any tropical storm force winds here in inland North Carolina and South Carolina. In fact, most of our gusts will be around 15 to 20, which is pretty normal for the afternoon, but rainfall potential will be a little bit higher as we could see some of those numbers around 2 to 3 inches over the next 7 days. So for areas that already seen flooding, of course, that'll be a lot of rain. But here's your Guy Roofing 7-day forecast. Most of the rain and storms still falling on Saturday. Of course, that system will be passing by the Carolinas Monday, Tuesday, and then it is headed away. A lot to talk about, of course, with potential tropical cyclone 4. And I do have a full update there over on our WCNC Charlotte mobile app.
All right, thank you, Brittany. And you can stay weather aware with our WCNC Charlotte Mobile app has an hour-by-hour forecast that is updated by our weather impact team, plus a live radar so you know exactly when storm conditions are picking up in your neighborhood. Just scan the QR code right there on your screen to download our app. Well, this Sunday, a Charlotte native will hit the track in the Summer Games. Anna Cockrell is making her second appearance at the Olympics. Now, in Tokyo, Cockrell was disqualified for a lane violation. Now, she's back and stronger than ever, hoping to win gold in Paris. WCNC Charlotte's Ashley Stroline caught up with Cockrell ahead of her trip to Paris.
Oh, there's so much excitement. There's so much hype. And everyone's like, you're going to the Olympics. Like, oh my. But I need to stay right here because I am going to the Olympics. I am excited. But I know how much work I still have left to do. And if I'm just riding this wave up and down, it makes it that much harder to get through the training and to be focused. And I think that's where the maturity has come from. Like, I'm still excited. I feel like I'm still like a wide-eyed girl in some senses, but I know when to turn it on and when to turn it off.
Shout out to her. Well, you can watch the full interview by scanning the QR code at the bottom of your screen. Cockrell will compete in the women's 400-meter hurdles prelims Sunday morning at 4. Well, it's the movement that began with a bucket of ice and the belief in the cure for ALS. It's just turned 10 years old. Can you believe it, Brittany? Well,
no, I can't.
Yeah,
actually.
Freights passed away from ALS in 2019, 7 years after he was diagnosed with this incurable disease. Friends and family filled Fenway Park to launch this year's efforts. And that's Pete's favorite place on earth. Man, I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
You know, anytime that anyone for a good cause puts something together like this, whether, it's a video that goes viral, some kind of challenge, it's just amazing, like what they were able to do. It was so popular. And
they were able to raise so much money. I remember, I think I actually bumped into the video of me doing the ice bucket challenge. Did you do it?
I did do it, but I don't think there's a video.
You didn't put it on video? That's what we do now.
Listen, I'm a millennial. I don't need, I don't need.
I'm a millennial too.
I know. I was about to say, but I don't need to record everything and put it somewhere. But if you guys find the video,
I'm gonna find the video after the show. Before we wrap up, I do want to ask, because I know you were checking out the Olympics yesterday. We all have in the newsroom. What you got your eye on today?
Everything.
Everything? I've been watching track. You know that's mine.
Well, yeah, that's yours. You like basketball, track, and all that. Yeah. I've said this before. Swimming has been kind of my number one thing, just because I was a swimmer. Gymnastics is always great, although I'm a little bit more excited for the next few days, just because of the individual, parts.
Yeah.
Because it's cool that you'll be able to not just see Simone and not just see Suni, but be able to see other. U.S. athletes compete. I mean, they're amazing, but of course I know Jordan Childs wants her opportunity, Jade as well, so can't wait.
I feel like I live vicariously through the athletes at the Olympics. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah. Well, you said yesterday you are an athlete, supposedly, so I'll have to wait to be seen.
See, we always end on this though. Thank you for joining us for the news at 2:30. You can find these stories and more on our website or on the WCNC mobile app. We'll be back with more of today's top headlines at 6 o'clock on WCNC Charlotte.